Yom Arvi'it. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you. Yom Arba'ah, if you want to say it that way. This is day 4, or the 4th day, whichever you'd like to say. We are glad to be here. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you. And yes, I knew I had an echo. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you. We're glad to be here. And we're here to magnify the Most High. We're here to spend time together as a family. We are here because we always want to come together as a community, and our subject on tonight is going to be the simple fact that it's nation and kingdom time. I want to drill this home that, listen, we're not going to be here long, but I want to drill this home, and we want to really think about some things that are very important to us. And yeah, my phone is ringing, so hey, here we go. We are going in. Oh boy, this is actually very, very funny. Here we go.
See, I have this day set thee over the nations and over the kingdoms, to root out and to pull down, to destroy and to throw down, to build and to plant.
Aha, here we are. Yes, we are here. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you. And we want to, as always, look away unto the Most High. Yes, and we love you too. Peace and blessings to you. All right, let's look away to the Most High. Baruch ataya o ataya dashe anaknu ohavi mocha. Baruch ataya o. Anaknu amirim lefneka she anaknu ha'am shalaverit shelech. Slika lanu gam rakham lanu ya'o. Slikalanu gam rakhamlanu Anaknu ha'am shal Hagoy Israel Baruch atayu B'hashemayim b'haaretz Baruch atayu ata hakol bishbelanu Baruch atayu Ha'aynaim gam ha'oznaim ham toking lifneka. Teach us lemedlenu ya'o. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you. Very glad that you all are here. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to magnify the Most High. We're going to do it, yes we are, by going to a very familiar Psalm. This is Psalm 25. Yep, number 4, number 5. Here we go. We're going in. Teach me, show me thy paths. Oh yeah, come on, teach me. Lead me into thy truth. Teach me. For thou art my salvation, my salvation. And all you do is all day, all day. All we do, we wait all day, all day. All right, you know, I really did want to continue that, but you know what? We can't do it. We can't do it. We have to make absolutely sure that we get into the lesson. All right, you know, I really did want to continue that, but you know what? We can't do it. So we have to get into the lesson for the day. Got to get into the lesson for the day. What is the lesson for the day? Listen, if you saw the title, then you know, right, that we're talking just a little bit. Listen, I can't get into all this, right? I can't do it, can't get into all of it, but we are going to get into some of it. What are we going to get into? We're just going to talk about, you know what, the kingdom and nation building, being a people, being a family, and what it means. Now, we started this on one of the other previous weeks for Yom Arba'ah, or Yom Revi'i, and we said that we were going to talk about nationhood, and we mentioned family. We mentioned what it means for us to be a people unto the Most High and some of the things that's necessary for us. Now, listen, I'm going to tell you this. When I heard someone, now I'm talking about in the beginning, like way back when people weren't really talking about being Hebrew a lot. People weren't talking about Hebrew. People weren't talking about it as much, right? I'll never forget, I was watching the Phil Donahue show, and you had some brothers there. Yeah, they had the Power Ranger uniforms on, but they had the long version, right? They had long trousers, and they were decked out. But I'll never forget watching that on the Phil Donahue show, and you know I'm dating myself if I say Phil Donahue. You know how far back that was. We're talking the 80s, right? Maybe even mid-80s, mid to early 80s. Well, I saw these people, right, and they were talking about being Hebrew, and back then I was just so in love with JC until I couldn't hear straight, so I could not hear what they... so my brother said, yeah, sure do. I remember that. Yeah, so I couldn't hear straight, so I really couldn't hear what they were saying. But back before, when people were really talking about being Hebrew, and it was something new, it was something fresh, it was something that, you know, not many people talked about, there would be individuals to say, you know what, when you look at the plight of the black man, when you look at the plight of the African American, when you look at the plight of Africans in America, you can actually take what we've gone through and line it up with what is written in Deuteronomy 28, and it will fit more so than any other group of people on the face of the planet. Now, I hold that to be true. I believe that to be true because no one else's story is like our story. Yes, there's other people that have been thrown into slavery. Yes, there were other. In fact, the word slave, and slavery comes from the word Slav, as in those who were, that was their nationality. They were Slavs, right? Like Yugoslavian, right? The Slavs, well, that's why they call them slaves. Yeah, and now it's stuck, and so now we have slavery, and we have those of us that were thrown into slavery. But bottom line of it is, I don't care who it started with. Let the record show that there is no other people on the face of the planet that has ever endured such atrocities as we have for the length of time that we have, and as systemically as we have. No matter where you go to on the planet, I guarantee you, you will find two things. You will find white supremacy and you will find black hatred. You will find that no matter, I don't care where you go, it may be more prevalent or less prevalent in some places, but you will definitely find that. Well, my point is that back before people began to talk about, being Hebrew, I often heard that, that our history lines up with Deuteronomy 28, and it does, right? It does. But yet and still at the same time, you have to ask yourself the question, and I'll even go back a little bit. I was actually in church back when I did go to church, and someone said, they were talking about how persecuted we are, right? And they said, we must have done something to deserve it. And I lost it. I really did. I lost it. And I wanted to really deal with that, sister, because I'm like, and I got all up in my chest. Oh, but don't you know there's such a thing as called injustice? That's why there's injustice. Because sometimes people, And I went there, right? Well, now we know in the Hebrew story, right? We know that we as a people, if you look at Deuteronomy 28, you know that we as a people have basically disobeyed the Most High, right? After we made a covenant with him and swore to him that we would follow his law, statutes, and his commandments. And again, as I've said before in other sessions and other lessons, that if you want to look at the greatest analogy or example of our relationship with the Most High, it's not going to be a boss and an employee. It's not even going to be a child and a parent, but it's going to be the relationship, as we read in Hosea, it's going to be the relationship between a man and a woman, okay? Where the one says, you know what, I'm gonna be faithful, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and then of course the other one says, all right, I'm gonna do the same, I'm gonna be faithful, and lo and behold, we know what happened in the case of Israel. So what I want to do is I'm here to help you pick up the pieces. Well, what do you mean pick up the pieces? Yeah, it's kind of like when I was a kid, and let me share this with you before I give some shout outs. I'll never forget. I had a thing, maybe I had this thing, and I did this because I was the one that got the most whoopings in the house. But I would say to myself, you know what? After I get my whooping, because no, we didn't get spankings, we got whoopings. That's another story for another time. No, we weren't abused, but anyway. You know how after you would get it, right? There's that lingering in the air of, you just got it. You just got a whooping. Yeah, you're sniffling. Yeah, you're crying. People are looking at you. And it's like, yeah, everyone know that you just got spanked, right? And there's that stigma. It's like, yeah, you're the spanked one. Well, I always said, after I get my whooping, I'm going to come outside and I'm going to be happy. I'm gonna be happy after my whooping. When I get my whooping, I'm gonna just be happy. And so my point, my point is, I wanted to say, look. You done already whoop me. You done already punish me, right? And by the way, Yeshawa Yaonli Cooper says, you must have been the oldest. No, I'm actually the youngest in my family, right? But I'm like, you already whooped me, right? It hurt. I learned my lesson. Okay, I'm sniffling, I'm crying. I love everybody now. And I'm like, you know what? It's over. The punishment is over, okay? Punishment is over. And so with that being the case, I want to say to those of us who are Israel, guess what? Newsflash, the punishment is over. Now we are in that part, that neck of the woods, where we read the scriptures that says, you know what? They will come together, but not by me, right? But then also what happens in that scenario is that, we defeat them, right? They'll flee before us 7 ways. You know the scriptures. You know what I'm talking about. Well, with that being the case, I'm simply saying, you know what? We've been beaten. We have received double. Isaiah, the 40th chapter. We have received double for our transgressions, double for our sins. Shake off that mentality and that dark mentality and that dark cloud that hangs over you that says, oh, we cursed and we... No, forsake all that. Leave all that behind. You know, scratch and get glad. All of that's over. It's time for something new. It's time for us to live the way that we're supposed to live. It's time for us to do something new. And with that being the case, let me break right here before I get into our lesson, and let's give some shout outs. I want to give some shout outs to got to give shout out to my day one, my brother from another mother, Bergen Paris. Yes, happy 4th day to you too. Happy day 4 to you too. Yom Arba'a or Yom Rabi'i. Josh and Penny, who are they are moderators and they're helping out tremendously. I love Josh and Penny. Thank you very much, Penny. Glad that you're here. Bergen Paris, glad that you are here. Let's go down and let's see if we cannot see who else is here. Yeshua Yaonli Cooper, peace and blessings to you. Shalom to you. Repentant and saved. All right, you're here. You know what? I connected with your husband on, just recently via email, and I pray that he is well. Maybe he's not too far behind. And man, you know what? He also verbally introduced me to your children. Sounds like you guys have a lovely family. Thank you very much for that. And I'm so glad to know you. So glad to know you. EJ Love in the house. Got to give a shout out to EJ Love. Yup. Glad that my sister EJ Love is here as well. I saw Jacqueline E. Bugs in the house. Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you, my sister. All right, yes. Guess what, y'all? Sean and Jesse the Soprano are here. I was looking at your channel the other day, and I'm getting hungrier and hungrier for some of your music. So hopefully that one piece you were working on is just about done by now. Hopefully. As well, who else? Okay, it looks like that is it. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and go in. And let's talk about some scriptures. Let's dig in, and we're going to be talking about a number of different things. And there's things that I want to share with you, right? There's things that I want to share with you. There's things that I want to mention. And we're going to do this by means of going into the scriptures as we always do, but with a mindset of becoming better. Please hear me. Please listen to me. A mindset of becoming better, and not just better, but becoming who we are. Now, let me give you let's dig in here just a little bit. We're going to go to a passage of scripture that I absolutely love. This passage of scripture is one that I meditate on quite frequently. And notice what it reads here. We're going to Psalms. And I want you to notice what it reads here. Psalms 19:7. Notice what it reads. It says, the law or the instruction of Yah is perfect. Okay? It is perfect. Even as it is, it's perfect. Well, there wasn't a New Testament yet. No, it's perfect. Well, there was no Talmud yet. No, it's perfect. Just as it is, the law and the instructions of the Most High is perfect. Why do you say it's perfect? Because the instructions of the Most High is so perfect and so powerful that it has the ability to do what it says here, which is what? Converting the soul. Now, this is a little tricky because when it says converting the soul, it's not talking about, like you were back in the Christian days when you went down to the altar and you said the sinner's prayer and you were converted. No, it's not talking about that. This is actually a different conversion. Well, what kind of conversion is it? It's the kind of a conversion that brings you back to the original moment of when the Most High breathed his breath of life into you and you became a living being, or I should say more accurately, you started the process of becoming a living soul, which means that as you began to be conscious, move about, understand your surroundings, understand your world, understand who the Most High is. You then continued your learning by living and interacting with the Most High, okay? And then learning how to perfect what it is that you have and grow in what you have. And you know what? Just simply mature in what you have. I have a problem with individuals who think that when Adam woke up that he was this perfect being. He was just automatically perfect. No, he was not perfect. In fact, if you take a look, and I've often said this, if you take a look at Bereshit, the 2nd chapter, in fact, I know this is review for some of you, but let me review an imperfection of Adam, Ha-Adam. Let's look at an imperfection of his, okay? In Bereshit, or Genesis, we're going to go to Genesis, the 2nd chapter. Okay. And I want you to see this, or what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go up a little bit. Okay. Notice what it reads. We're going to begin at verse number 1. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished and all the hosts of them. And on the 7th day, Elohim ended his work. He ceased from working. It was done. So he rested from his work, right? And from all his work which he had made. And Elohim blessed the 7th day and sanctified it, because in it he rested from all his work which he had created and made. I don't have time to point out the difference between created and made right now, but they are very different in what the Most High did. That's a lesson for another time, but let's read on in verse number 4. And he says, these are the generations of the heavens and the earth when they were created in the day that Yah Elohim made the earth and the heavens and every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew. For Yah Elohim had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. What? Nobody nowhere, okay? But there went up a mist from the earth, okay? Like the dew on the plants, there went up a mist from the earth, and it watered the whole face of the ground. Now, I want you to notice something here. And Yah formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became, or continued to become, a living soul. This is an evolutionary process right here. This is a process of evolving spiritually and evolving naturally. Okay, when you look at the Hebrew word became, in fact, let me show it to you. I'm going to show it to you, okay? For those of you that want to see it. In the Hebrew, it is the word hayah, and it means to come to pass, okay? To come to pass, to become, and then finally to be. But it's to come to pass, right? So it is the coming to pass. In other words, that which coming about. It's not automatic. It's not already done, but it's, like I said before, evolving, right? You're evolving. It's coming to pass. It hasn't come to pass, but it's on its way. So man was becoming a living soul as he learned how to navigate this new terrain of living in the flesh, living in his body, and still having the capacity to live in the spiritual world. Now, here's what I want to share with you. This is why we are called, as I said before, just by way of review, this is why we are called an individual, okay? Because really individual is two words put together, an indivisible duality. In other words, we're two that are indivisible or can't be separated. What are we that are two? We have a body and we have a spirit. And so this man that was new had to begin to learn how to negotiate both worlds, the planes of the spirit or the unseen realm, and that which was the physical reality and the physical world in which we live in. So he was becoming a living soul and was ever investigating and finding out what it means to grow both spiritually and naturally, okay? Now, I'm going to continue reading here for a little bit. Notice what it reads in verse 8. And Yah Elohim planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man who he had formed. And out of the ground, the Lord God caused trees to grow, right? He calls, and they talk about the rivers and the trees, okay? Now, I want you to see something here. Verse 18. And Yah Elohim said, it is not good that man should be alone. We see that, right? And he says, I will make an helpmeet for him. And so basically, long story short, notice what the Most High does. Yah, Elohim, caused a deep sleep, verse 21, to fall upon Adam, and he slept, knocked him out cold, right? Going to do surgery. And he took one of his ribs. Now, they say ribs, in the Quran, it says a clot of blood. It's talking about DNA. Long story short, it took a piece of Adam and closed up the flesh thereof. Now, they said rib. We're going to stick with rib. And the rib which Yah Elohim had taken from man, he made a woman out of it and brought her unto the man. Okay? Now, I told you that we were going to see a fault of Adam. We were going to see one of the faults of Adam, which proves that he was growing into himself. He was growing as a human being. He was growing as a spiritual being and as a physical being. He was growing into that reality. It wasn't automatic. It wasn't upfront. He had to grow into it. Okay. Otherwise, he would know everything. Everything would be, understandable. It would be, but that was not the case. And you're going to see here why. Because notice what it says here. The Most High says, and you know what? It's not good for man to be alone. So he ended up taking Adam, said, Adam, go to sleep. Right. And then he takes his rib and he makes a woman. And let me continue reading verse number 23. Notice what it reads. I'm going to have to lift it up. Here we go. And Adam said, when he saw the woman, because notice what happened in verse number 22. And the rib which Yah Elohim had taken from the man, he made a woman and brought her unto the man. Right? So now wait a minute. Hold the phone. So if you stop right now and ask one simple question, where did the Most High get everything that he used in order to make the woman, Eve, or Chava? You would have to say from within Adam. Okay? The Most High, in creating the woman, simply took everything that was already in the man, took that part of him out, or I should say, the man yet had balance with masculinity and femininity, but he took out some of the femininity, magnified it, and then balanced it with a little masculinity and made a woman. But everything that he used, he got it out of Adam. I want to say that again. Everything that the Most High used to create Eve and to make Eve came out of Adam. Why is that so? It's so because one fault of Adam was that even though Adam had that within himself, right, he didn't recognize it until the Most High created this other being and put what Adam could not see in himself in that being. And then once Adam was confronted with it, then he's like, okay, now I recognize who you are. But before she was created, he could not see it. Adam, growing into himself as a spiritual and a natural being, could not see and did not know all the depths of his being and everything that was there because he thought that he was alone. Eve was already in him. Okay? Eve was already there. Eve was already in him. And the Most High, I believe that the Most High wanted Adam to be as him because he's in likeness and in image, and understanding that he is all in all, okay? Understanding that Adam is self-sufficient. Adam could have been cool. Adam could have been fine. But because Adam did not have the depth of perception like the Most High did, Adam could not see what was in him, so the Most High had to take what was in him and create a being and put that in her and then confront Adam with it, and then Adam could recognize what he at first could not see. That is a fault of Adam, okay? And in fact, there's also other hints to faults concerning Adam. This is going to be my last point, and I'm going to move on. But there are other faults pointing out to Adam because Adam perceived himself to be alone. In fact, it even, listen, if things get to the point to where the Most High has to take note of it, you know it's bad, okay? You know it's really bad. You know the situation has gotten really, really bad when the Most High has to say, you know what? I put everything in him. He's got everything in him like I have it in me. But yet, since he's not perceiving it to be correctly, he thinks that he's alone. And you know what? It's not good for him to be like this. It's not good for him to be like this with a limited perception, not realizing what's in him, not realizing that he's self-sufficient, not realizing that he's got it all together. Guess what? Guess what? I am going to make him a helpmeet, and I'm going to give him someone, okay? I'm going to give him someone. And so that's what the Most High did. So now I'm saying that that's a fault of Adam. And Adam had a number of different faults, but he perceived himself to be alone, okay? Despite the fact that he was with the Most High and he had all things in him that the Most High had in him, maybe not to the same magnitude and degree, but yet it was there. And he could have been cool with it, just like the Most High is cool with it, but he wasn't. That is just a simple fault of Adam. So he was becoming... the reason why he's allowed to have these faults, like you and I, is that we are becoming the perfection of the Most High. We are becoming. You're not ready-made, okay? You're not ready-made. You're not perfect. No need for you to, be on a high, mighty horse. I'm holier than thou. You haven't made it yet. You're not there yet, okay? So don't persecute others. Realize that we're all striving to be what the Most High wants us to be. But with that being the case, remember I said that there's a difference between up here where it says created and made. And I said that, that really is a subject for another day, and it is. But I want to give you an example. Because when it says that he created, okay, this is the Hebrew word bara, B-A-R-A. It is the word bara. And here's the interesting thing about it. Here's the interesting thing. The word bara does not mean you snap your finger and this cake appears out of nothing. Ooh, I just created a cake. Snap my finger and boom, a big old German chocolate, 6-layer German chocolate cake appears, right? That is not this kind of creation. This is not the kind of creation that the Most High is talking about. This is the kind of creation, bara is the kind of creation where you get an egg and you get some milk and you get some flour and you get some baking powder and you get, you know what I mean? And you get some vanilla and you get the ingredients and you mix it together. This is the kind of bara that is mentioned all throughout Genesis. It's mentioned from the beginning of Genesis all the way through, even into the 2nd chapter of Genesis. And here's what we're talking about. The Most High did not, in Genesis 1, going all the way down through, he did not make something out of nothing, ex nihilo. No, he did not. Bara says that he makes things out of what is already there. In other words, he repurposes it, okay? He may reshape it, he may reform it, okay? Another example, he didn't just snap his finger and Adam appear, right? But now Hollywood makes us think, oh yeah, God could just do that. But that's not the way God moves. That's not the way God works. God baras, our Elohim, he baras, meaning he takes things that are already there and gives them an order, gives them a purpose, gives them a level of perfection, if you will, that is new and that is better than it once was before. That is bara. That is what we are seeing here. And this is, if you notice, we see that he created and he made. Adam is an example of the Most High creating. So now, I want you to understand something here, that once again, when the Most High breathed into us, into our nostrils, the breath of life, and we began the process of becoming living souls, living conscious beings that have awareness, this process started when he breathed his spirit into us, and his spirit was in us, and then we began to live, we began to think, and we began to have awareness because his spirit that is in us. All right? So, began with Psalms 19:7 that says that the law of the Most High, the law of Yah, is perfect. Why? Because it takes you right back into the second chapter of Bereshit, where your soul was new and your soul was in the image of the Most High and your soul was pure. The law and the instruction of the Most High has a purifying and perfecting effect on the souls, on the nefesh of us, of ourselves, our spirit and our body. It has the ability to bring us back to that original state, to make us be who we once were when we were pure before the Most High. That is one reason that the law and the testimony of the Most High is here. It's here to bring us back to that state when we were first breathed. Right? And then, of course, to read further, it says that the testimony, in other words, the Most High speaking of things that are to come in the future, it is for sure. It is for sure. Okay? And it has the ability, once again, as it continues to convert the soul, it has the ability to make someone wise that was stupid, simple, dumb, ignorant. It has the ability to make them wise. Stop and think about that for a moment. The testimony of the Most High has the ability to make someone who is stupid, who is dumb, who is an ignoramus, make someone who is slow. It has the ability to make them wise. Isn't that something? Because with the word of the Most High and with the law, it has within it a recreative property that will recreate anything that it touches, anything that it gets into, it will recreate. It will refashion, it will reform, and it'll even upgrade. It'll upgrade you. If you take the instructions of the Most High, his instructions and his laws will be an upgrade. Okay? It'll be an upgrade, and you will be able to do what you could not do without the law of the Most High. Well, moving forward, it says that the statutes of the Most High, that they are right. In other words, the statutes that involve us operating with one another socially and getting along with each other as family, getting along with each other, right, as a people, yeah, it has the ability to rejoice the heart. And now this here really is related to what we're going to be talking about when we talk about kingdom and when we talk about being a nation, because we're talking about the statutes and the laws of the Most High that are able to rejoice the heart, but it does it as we are walking before him and being a family together. Okay? Imagine, if you will, imagine if it doesn't have to be everybody on the planet, but just, imagine a community of people that were walking in the laws and statutes of the Most High. You know that they wouldn't steal from you. You know that they would not kill you. You know that, you would feel safe. You would be blessed economically because they're not going to steal from you. In fact, if they see something wrong, they will help you, right? Listen, if we had the kingdom, that would be the greatest blessing that I'm telling you. That would be great. That would be wonderful. That would be heaven on earth. If we had the kingdom of the Most High and people were actually loving each other and loving themselves the way that they're supposed to. Okay? Remember what it says in Leviticus 19 chapter. It said, look, don't be a talebearer, gossiping about your brother and your sister. Well, imagine if that was true. You didn't have to worry about people gossiping. You didn't have to worry about people talking about you, dogging you out. Doesn't that sound beautiful? Doesn't that sound wonderful? Imagine if you will, that if someone saw something of yours, rather than stealing it, they brought it back to you. I'm telling you, the kingdom is the way to go. It is good for our society. It is good for us as a people. And this is one of the reasons why I love the Hebrew walk, because the Hebrew walk has the ability to build us up and to put us back together. All the broken pieces of us being a nation, all the broken pieces of us being a people, it has the ability to bring us back together and put us back together the way that the Most High wants and said that we should be put together. With that being the case, we know that, again, the law of the Lord, it is perfect. The fear of the Most High, it is clean and it is enduring. As I go back to the scriptures, the commandment of the law is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear and the reverential fear and worship of the Most High is clean or cleansing, and it's enduring forever. The judgments of the Most High, they are true and they are righteous altogether. And they are more to be desired than physical wealth And yes, they are more to be desired, and they are wonderful. So now, with that being the case, let's just talk about this for a second, because again, we're talking about being a people. We're talking about nation building. We're talking about joining together as a family. Now, there is a question that is asked in Psalm 119 that asks, how shall a young man cleanse his way? That is an important question, and I'm going to tell you why it's important. It's important because the way that we look at ourselves, right, as we build ourselves back together, we know that it's going to start with the family. But where does the family start? Where does the family start? The family starts with the individual. The family starts with the person. The family starts with you, okay? And I'm going to pick on the men first. I'm going to pick on the men, definitely. The family starts with the individual, okay, which is why you see when it talks about Abraham and the beginning of family and the beginning of the nation, it talks about the man Abraham. And there's so much that hangs upon the character and the integrity of Abraham. For the Most High says in Genesis 25, it says, you know what? I know that he's going to lead his family. I know what Abraham's going to do. He is going to lead his family, and he's going to follow my laws, my statutes, and my commandments. He's going to do it. Why? Because I know him, right? He says, I know him, and he is, in fact, it's 26:5. I had it backwards, 25:6, but here we go, going in. And I'm going to start at verse number 4. Notice what it says, and I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, and I will give unto thy seed all these countries, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because that Abraham, who? Abraham. It starts with the man. It starts with an individual, and Abraham is the beginning of the nation. Abraham is the beginning even of a family. He is the beginning. It starts with him. So now, in order for us to understand what it means to be a Hebrew nation and a Hebrew people, we have to first of all focus on self. I'm not saying be selfish. I'm not saying be selfish, but you do have to focus on self and ask yourself some questions. Am I whole? Am I pure? Am I good? Am I solid? Or am I toe up from the flow up? Am I a mess in a dress, or am I, just a mess? I'm a guy. I think I know everything. I'm slapping women around. I mean, how are you really doing? Okay, now please keep in mind some of these camps, and I mean some of the Hebrew camps. Some of them dog their women, and you will see some of them on YouTube talking about, I used to be a Hebrew Israelite. Yeah, and they're going to tell you some story about being in a camp and about being dogged out, where the woman, now please keep in mind, now what I'm about to say, I think it's honorable for a woman, if she wants to call her husband, now the scripture says that Sarah called her husband Lord. But a lot of women nowadays be like, shoot, I ain't calling no man, I ain't gonna call no man, Lord. But that level of respect is, it's a beautiful thing, right? Am I saying you better call me Lord? No, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying, it's a beautiful thing of respect, but that's what Sarah called Abraham. That's what Abraham's wife called him. But here's my point. You have men in these camps that are demanding that women call them, you better call me, you better respect me. But you have to act as if you are respectable. You have to earn the respect. Doesn't that make sense? You have to earn the respect. In other words, you should be so good to her that you make her want to call you Lord. Not that she will, but you get my point. You should be so good to her and treat her so well and so good. She should feel so safe that she shouldn't have a problem giving you accolades and calling you, giving you a title of respect and affection. But now, wait a minute. This also deals with the individual because, as I said, you got to walk the walk and talk the talk. In fact, in this case, you don't even talk the talk. You just walk the walk. You don't walk around saying, you better call me, Lord. You better call. No, you don't do that at all. But rather, what Abraham did was he said, you know what? All I'm going to do is just mind my own business. I'm going to obey the voice of the Most High. And the Most High said, this is why I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to multiply your seed. I'm going to bless you. You're going to be a nation, right? And all the people of the earth shall be blessed because of you. Why? Because Abram was minding his own business, dotting his I's, crossing his T's, and watching his P's and Q's when it came to doing what the Most High said. Family, here's my point, family begins with the individual. Family begins with you being whole. In this case, whether you're a man or you're a woman, you can't be toe up from the flow up. You got to handle your business. You got to do the inside work. You got to watch yourself. You got to really take note. Are you flying off the handle at people, mad for no reasons? Or are you always down in the dumps or always depressed? You need to do the inner work. You got to do the work. You got to do the work on the inside of your own heart, because remember, as Adam was becoming a living soul, he was learning and growing how to be a spiritual being, how to be a quantum spiritual being living a dynamic physical reality. That's what Adam had to negotiate, and it didn't happen all at once, and it's not going to happen for you all at once. It's amazing how no matter how many generations come and go, there isn't a explicit set of instructions that says, here's how you be successful in life, here's how you be a good baby, here's how you be a good toddler, here's how you be a good, here's how you be a good, little boy, here's how you be a good teenager, here's how you be a good man. We don't have instructions. We don't have instructions. How do you parent? How do you, be a good man? How do you be a good husband? How do you be a good wife? How do you be a good mother? We don't have instructions. We do not have instructions. And you got to ask yourself, why? Why would the Most High put us down here and there be no set of explicit instructions for us to be a good parent, a good individual, or a good anything? How could that happen? Why is that the case? Why is that the case? Well, one of the things that I know for a fact, one of the things that is key is that when you become an individual like Abram, who, by the way, Abram was not even perfect. Abram was still finding out some things about himself. In fact, we could show you in the scriptures where Abraham lied a couple of times. I can show you in the scriptures where Abraham flat out just fell on his face laughing before the Most High and did not believe what the Most High was saying at the time, right? It was hard for him to conceive it. So with that being the case, we know that we are growing into the perfection of us being who the Most High wants us to be. But now here's the deal. I know people, they park on this point and they say, we're not perfect. But wait a minute. Are you comfortable in your imperfection? Are you comfortable with it? Like, I always bite people head off. That's just what I do. No, that's not what you're to do. You can't stay there. You can't be comfortable in your own imperfection, okay? You got to get uncomfortable with your imperfection, okay? So with that being the case, it is important for us to understand something that I'm going to call it, and you may not want to hear it. It's a word that you may not want to hear, but you have to be a person of integrity. Got to be a person of integrity. Are you the same when nobody's looking? When you're out in public, are you one way, but then when you're behind closed doors, you're a completely different way? Do you speak differently? Do you act differently? Do you behave differently and desire different things when you're with people as opposed to when you're by yourself? If that is true, then yeah, you are a hypocrite. Got to call it like I see it. Got to go straight down the middle. You would be classified as a hypocrite, okay? But it takes integrity for us to be able to embrace the things of the Most High and to walk in what the Most High has for us, as Abraham is our example. Now, what we're talking about here is we're talking about nationhood, and we're talking about us having the ability to come together as a family and to be one. It's going to take us to be real. It's going to take integrity, but at the same time, it's going to take us saying no to some things, right? We're going to have to say no to some things. Going to Leviticus 19, I want to show you some things, okay? Notice what it says here. And Yah spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto all the congregation of the children of Israel, and say unto them, look. I need you to understand something here. You need to be holy, and you need to make sure that you embrace holiness. Okay? It says, why? Because, look, I created you in my image and in my likeness, and guess what? I am holy. So you need to be like me, and you need to continue to strive to be like me. Okay? I am your example. I'm your standard. You need to be like me. So Leviticus 19:2 says, you know, the reason why you need to be holy is because the Most High is holy. Now, this is astounding because the Most High says, you know what? I have not forgotten that you're like me. I've not forgotten that I made you in my image. I've not forgotten that I've made you godlike. And this is what many of us need to recall. We need to remember. You coming back to your integrity is not you coming back to just, oh, look at me, I'm nothing. No. The Most High says, you're like me. You're in my image. You're in my likeness. So if you're going to have integrity, you're going to own up to that. Some people think that integrity is like saying, you know, talking down at yourself. Well, you know, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to say something, you know, this, you know, the Most High ain't going to like, so, you know, I'm going to just be humble. No, you're full of it. Stop it. The Most High says, you know what, you are to be like me. I want you to be like me. End of story, period. That's what you should strive to be, like me. Ain't no shame in that game. There's no reason for you to be ashamed of it. There's no reason for you to run from it. You are a divine being having a human experience. Start living divine and expecting to do divine things. Start expecting it. Start expecting it on a daily basis. Do something to surprise yourself. Do something to amaze yourself. You are a divine being living in a physical reality. We ought to see something good from you. We ought to see something good from you on a daily basis. Okay? If you are living up to the integrity of who the Most High has made you to be, then yes, you need to be doing something, even on a daily basis, even if it's just for you, where you demonstrate, you know what, I'm walking in holiness. Now, what is holiness? Holiness is basically being set apart for the use of the Most High. Set apart for the use of the Most High. Set apart for the use of the Most High. What part of you is set apart for the Most High? What part of you have you set aside for the Most High? I'm asking the question. What part of you have you set aside? Or do you just think of the Most High just when you're praying or just when it's on Shabbat? But what side of you have you really said, you know what, this part of my life belongs to the Most High? What? What is it? What is it? Can you name it? You don't have to say it out loud, but I mean, can you tell me? Like, can you just think about it? I mean, what part? What part? What part really belongs to the Most High? And you can't cheat by saying, oh, my spirit, no. I'm talking about what part of your life. Does the Most High show up in your life financially? Is there something set aside for the Most High in your finances? Is there something set aside for the Most High in the way that you dress, in the way that you eat? Is there something? Is there something? Why? You are a divine being and you are holy before Him, and you are supposed to be set aside, and this is who we are as a nation. Remember, it starts with us, the individual. This is who you are as a nation, and this is who we are as a nation of people, and this is what's going to set us apart from everyone else on the planet. Okay? And it's time to own it. It's time to step in it wholeheartedly. You mean to tell me you have individuals who are willing to forsake their gender, the gender of their birth, and identify with an opposite gender or even animals? You mean to tell me that it's acceptable in this day and age in our society that they now have human-sized litter boxes in schools for those who identify as a cat? Are you kidding me? In the bathrooms? Are you kidding me? And you mean to tell me you're going to be ashamed to identify as a Hebrew, or you're going to be ashamed to identify as a child of the Most High? Are you kidding? Are you kidding? It amazes me. It absolutely amazes me. I'll never forget, oh my goodness, this was years ago, and I used to have to conduct business in this one printing shop. And you know how you come across someone and you can't tell if they're male or female, right? I'm talking to this person, and I mean, I couldn't tell. Listen, I'm usually pretty good at this, telling male and female. but I couldn't tell if this was a male or female. And I'll never forget, I said, I was leaving. I said, okay, thank you, sir. And I'll never forget the smile that came across this person's face. Well, I found out later it was a female that was identifying as a male. And when I said, sir, it just made, can I say her day? It just made his day, right? So you mean to tell me people are walking out here in front of the Most High and everyone identifying as some of any and everything, and we're afraid and ashamed to identify as Hebrews? You're ashamed to identify as holy? You're ashamed to identify as the nation of Israel? Really? Really? Ashamed to wear tzitzit? Ashamed? Really? You're ashamed? Men are wearing dresses, carrying purses, and you're afraid? You're afraid to wear fringes? It's time for us to stand up and be who we are, a nation of people, and it begins with you on an individual level. Are you going to go all out, or are you not going to go all out? Are you going to do it or not? Now, that's just a note. That's just a note for tonight. That's just a note for tonight. And rest assured, if you don't have integrity, you will begin to waver and wonder, okay, like these people that I'm getting ready to show you. Because now, I'm talking about integrity. I'm talking about you standing up for what is right and what is holy. I want you to understand something. What I'm about to show you, I mean, it really is a crying shame. I'm sorry. It is a crying shame. But when you don't have any integrity, then you will not be able to stand as a nation and people, because you won't have any boundaries. Everything goes. It's okay. Everything is all right. Everything is fine. Everything is good. No, you have to have a standard. You got to have something to stand on. And we have to stand as a nation of Hebrews with the word of the Most High. We have to stand for him no matter who likes it, no matter who hates it. We must stand for it. Otherwise, we're going to end up just like these other people who are, for all practical purposes, they think that they are doing the will of the Most High. They really do. But when I show you this and you see what a hot mess this is, you're going to be like, oh man, I don't believe it. But you may believe it. I don't know. You just may believe it. Let me find it here real quick. In fact, I want you to see this, okay? Because these people, you won't believe what they're doing. Guess what they're doing? They are going to show you how to drop it low for JC. They dropping it low for JC. Oh, can you hear?
James, when we was just this little.
Free Pastor James!
So their pastor wrote this song.
God loves me. He provides for me. He protects me. So tonight, I'm gonna drop it low just for him. Drop it low for Jesus.
Dropping it low for JC. Do you believe that?
Keep the Lord in mind. When you're dirty wine, drop it for Jesus. In the
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
Showing love. I'm on the grind.
Okay, she said, keep JC on your mind when you dirty grind. Drop it low for JC. When you have no integrity, I'm sorry, when you have no integrity, okay, anything goes. Anything goes.
For my sins he died. Died. 'Cause I know I'll be at the pearly gates for sure. I'll be in the number when the trumpet starts to blow. But tonight I gotta drop it low. Drop it low.
So, dropping it low for Jesus, for JC, dropping it low. Do you believe that? Is that, I mean, really, 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 yeah. When you have no integrity, when you have no definition, when you have absolutely nothing to stand on, the wind can blow you any kind of way, right? The wind can blow you any kind of way. But you know, and it's not just these people. It's not these people only that's on this, but there's also others. Well, what do you mean there's others? Well, I'm so glad that you asked. Let's, I know you all have seen this one before, but let's go here.
Well, I wrote this song for the Christian youth. I want to teach kids the Christian truth. If you want to reach those kids on the street, then you got to do a rap to a hip-hop beat. So I gave my sermon an urban kick. My rhymes are fly, my beats are sick. My crew is big and it keeps getting bigger. That's 'cause Jesus Christ is my nigga.
Yeah. Okay, I think a violation has just been, I think a foul has just been made here. Violation, timeout. Okay. Yeah, he said that. He actually said that. He said the N-word in his rap song about JC. When you have no integrity, okay, I mean, you will do anything, you will go anywhere, anything, anywhere the wind blows, anyway a halfway decent argument is made, you'll flow that way. We got to have integrity, people. We have got to stand on a firm, solid foundation. We must stand on the word of the Most High. Otherwise, the wind will blow us in any kind of direction and we'll just go. Everything's all right. Everything's all right. Now, to get to a couple of other things that I want to deal with here, because we're talking about, I haven't even scratched the surface in talking about nationhood itself and about us being a nation before the Most High. Here's what I'm going to share with you. I am not going to spend a lot of time talking about what is wrong with the world or what's wrong with other religions. I want to talk about what's right with us, and I want to talk about how we're supposed to do this and how we're supposed to get along and what we're supposed to do. Namely and essentially, we are supposed to be a nation of people before the Most High. And in order to bring about our nationhood, I have to take you back to Exodus, okay, and I'm soon closing. I have to take you back to Exodus, and we have to take you, okay, into this place where we became a nation, where we became a people under the Most High. We have to take you back there in order to bring us into a nation. Real quick, Exodus, okay, Exodus 20. Notice what it reads. And Elohim spake all these words, saying, I am Yah Elohim, which have brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. And then he says, you know what, you're not going to have any other Elohim before me. Well, we've been through the 10 Commandments, right? But here's the interesting thing. I want you to understand that this is a treaty that the Most High is making with his people. This is a covenant and a treaty that the Most High is making. And it is in this moment that we became, or I should say the groundwork was set so that we could become a people unto the Most High. And in order for us to be a people unto the Most High today, we must go right back to Exodus 20, but we must gather ourselves as a people and come back to the foot of the mount and to hear once again the words of the Most High, and there to once again solidify our covenant and say, you know what, we are going to do this. Right now, there's just too much competition. There's too much competition. It's like any and everything goes this way, you know, that way is fine, mix a little Buddha in it, do this, do that. And there's just so much competition out there for your spiritual mind and consciousness. Everything wants your attention, okay? Everything is trying to get your attention. And it's becoming harder and harder for us to just see one path and just to walk that path and realize that within that path, there's everything that we need. That is why I love the Hebrew walk, okay? Because in it is everything that we need for the 12 pillars of society, for economics, for sociology, for psychology, philosophy. I mean, I could go on. Biology, science, law, theology, all the 12 pillars of society They are found in our Hebraic walk. The mending together of the individual to make them a whole person, that's in the Hebrew walk. How to treat your land and tap into the spirituality of your land so that your land gives you an increase that's literally out of this world. That's in our Hebraic walk. How to look at the sun, the stars, and the moon and understand what they mean and where they fit in the calendar system that the Most High has given us. That is in our walk. That's in our way. Dealing with the Most High on a very personal level. The way that we should dress, the way that we should eat, all of this is in the Hebraic walk. This is why I love it, because it has the ability to bring us back together as a community and as a people. It has the ability to heal us. Again, I bring before you Psalm 19, verses 7 through 9. It has the ability to bring us back to that place of wholeness and healing where we need to be, and it has a way of resolving issues if we will allow it to. So taking a look here, as we close, I'm just about to close in the next few minutes. I want to give you this simple admonition that as we come together on an individual level, as we come together, having done the work first, let's endeavor to be people of integrity, people of courage, people that stand firm and flat-footed on what it is that we know to be true from His Word, and be the nation that we're supposed to be. That's all I'm asking tonight. I want you to look at yourself tonight, and I want you to think of nationhood. I want you to think of nationhood and the kingdom, and I want you to ask yourself this simple question. Do I have enough integrity? Am I real enough to belong to the kingdom of the Most High? Would I fit in the kingdom of the Most High? Do I fit in the program that the kingdom of the Most High is putting together? Do I fit in that program? Okay? Or am I going to be, am I going to be on the outside looking in? Do I fit? Do I fit? Do I have integrity? Can I live with my Hebrew brothers and my Hebrew sisters? Okay? So I don't want to get into anything else. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look and see if we have any questions or comments. Now is the time, at this particular time, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open it up for questions. That's right. I'm going to open it up for questions. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a little bit of a break. We're going to come back and we're going to ask about questions. So we'll be right back. Give me just a minute and we'll see you soon. Hi, I'm Melchior Uriel, and I'm so delighted to meet you. I'm glad that you stopped by. I'm glad that you're curious, and I'm glad that you clicked on the video. There are increasing numbers of Hebrew Israelites all over the world, from Asia to Africa, from Mexico to Germany. There are Hebrew Israelites that are coming together as a nation and as a family, and you are needed. You are needed to take your place as the educator of your families, your sons, your daughters. So we want you to enroll in Navi Beit University so that you can take your place in the kingdom. Now is the time to prepare to create Hebraically centered scholarly materials to educate others, to teach your family, to teach your sons, your daughters, to teach the young, to teach the old, and to bring them into the knowledge of the Most High. The Most High is gathering us together as He has promised. So enroll in Navi Beit University, connect with the administrator and the registrars, and enroll today for just $35 for a bachelor's per month, or $45 for a master's, or even enroll in the doctorate's program. You can get a degree with a Hebraic focus at Navi Beit University. Hebraic education, undergraduate, graduate, and specialty courses. All right, here we are. Okay, we've opened it up for questions. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I just wanted to hop on today and just give you a simple little admonition, not really teach a whole lesson, but really just to kind of ask you some questions when it comes to the kingdom and when it comes to nation building. Are you ready? I mean, are you ready to represent? Okay, and do you have enough integrity to represent? Right? Do you have enough integrity to represent? The call-in line is open as well. Questions, we're opening up for questions. And let's see here. I'm looking at some of the comments. I mean, a couple of comments were funny. Sean said, that broke my brain for tonight. Oh, my goodness. Penny said, you know, those dumb, she said, those dumb people, they were trying to teach the black youth with that song, Good Grief. I can't believe this hasn't been taken down. I can't believe it hasn't been taken down. I know, right? And Sean said, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. Yeah, you're right. You're right. When I heard it, I'm like, what? You know, he went there. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Jacqueline E. Bug says, my stomach hurts. Funny. Yeah, my sister Repent and Save said, yeah, it's a bop. Looking then at everything, I want to say listen, my brother said, I think it's time to go to our sponsor. Yeah, you know what? Oh, goodness. So, I mean, you know what? It's funny, but it's not funny, but it's funny. Man, someone said that guy sounds like Kirk Franklin. D-Lo is here. Peace and blessings to you, D-Lo. Kanaya Yisrael is here. All right, all right. Somebody said holes for JC. Oh my goodness. Yeah. That fits, right? That fits. Because they were talking about being in the club and dropping it low for JC. Yeah. Repent and Save says, wow, no sincerity or integrity. How could you do that? I'm just saying, how could a person in their right mind get up there and say, hey, we're going to do this song. It's written by my pastor, and it's called Drop It Low for JC. I don't see how anyone in their right mind could do that. But therein is an example. When you don't have integrity, when you don't have a platform, when you don't have a foundation, I should say, you will go for anything. Okay? You will go for anything. I'm looking at some of the comments here. Since I don't see any questions, I'm looking at some of the comments. Yeah, you guys have some good comments. Yeah, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. But you know what? There's more out there. I'm sad to say that there is absolutely more out there. You know, you have preachers out here that are justifying adultery. Basically, they're saying, they're calling it higher provision. God has given me a higher provision. And there's a woman that is able to provide for me on a higher level than my wife. And so I'm going to kick my wife out, kick her to the curb, and I'm going to let this woman who has a better ministry, I'm going to let her minister unto me. Okay? It's foolishness. It's crazy. It's ridiculous, right? So listen, I've only got just a few more minutes that I'm going to be on, but my sister Jacqueline E. Bug says, perhaps they think that this is the place where righteousness is. I recently was speaking with a person and shared the understanding of Hosea, and he said, why would God want us to marry whores? Well, again, this was the ministry of the prophet, who, by the way, those who are prophets oftentimes are called to demonstrate what is happening in the day and in the age between the Most High and his people. They are called to actually demonstrate that, which is why it is such a strong thing. And so some people have said that, well, Isaiah 53 is really talking about the suffering servant. It's really about Isaiah himself, who actually had to go through his wife dying and other things happening to him, and one calamity after another. He had to go through those things, as well as Ezekiel went through a bunch of things, and Hosea went through a bunch of things. And so, long story short, I'm sorry, I just saw a comment from my brother. My brother is funny. Bergen Paris. I can just hear that. Have you ever been swallowed? So, long story short, there are individuals who are prophets who have actually been demonstrating what the Most High is going through and relaying that to the people by actually living it in their lives. And so that's why the Most High said, hey, I want you to demonstrate this so the people will really get the message, because people are not feeling what I'm feeling. They're not going through what I'm going through. And the Most High is like, look, we're in this together. You need to understand. I need you to really understand this, right? And not have that attitude like, oh, that's the Most High. He's fine. He's going to be all right with it. No, he's like, look, prophets, I need you to demonstrate this so that everyone gets the message. I'm hurting behind this. Okay? Now, back in fact, let me look at this comment here. Repent and Save says, I have heard that as well regarding the suffering servant. Who is the suffering servant? Well, there is basically, there's a couple of different answers. If you look at what Isaiah is saying himself, it is inclusive of all of Israel, it is inclusive of the remnant of Israel, which is inclusive of the prophets themselves, the prophets that have also demonstrated, again, what the Most High is going through. Remember, it is the prophets that were killed. It's the prophets that suffered at the hands of individuals who thought that they were doing what was right. And if you take a look, and someone already beat me to the punch, Isaiah 49, Penny beat me to the punch, because Isaiah 49 basically shows you that it's Israel. In fact, let me do this. Let me go just into a couple of scriptures, okay? Let me go into a couple of scriptures, and let's go here, and I will show you real quick about Isaiah 53 and the fact that it really does fit. Okay, it fits Israel, but it also fits the prophets, which you could consider as a remnant within Israel. Okay? So, once again, even if we go back to our scripture that we always put up, or I should say we put it up a lot, Isaiah 43 and 10, notice what it reads here. It says, and you all know this, you are my witnesses, saith Yah, and my servant. So, witnesses is plural, because we're talking about Israel. Now, is there any proof that we're talking about Israel? Well, yes, there is proof. Okay? But now, look at verse number 1, 43 and 1. But now this says, Yah that created thee, O Jacob, and he that formed thee, O Israel. So he's talking about Israel, right? He says in the third verse, for I am Yah, Eloheka, the Lord your God, the Holy One of Israel, thy Savior. So if we go back down to where we were, verse 10, we're talking to Israel, and it says, you, Israel, are my witnesses, plural, saith Yah, and you are my servant. So Israel is said to be the servant, even though it is a nation of people. The Most High says, you are my servant. And when you take a look at what Isaiah 53 is really saying, let me go back there. Isaiah 53 is saying, hey, I need you to understand something. And I got to say this, you got to understand first that Isaiah 53 really begins at 52 and 13, okay? The Catholics actually put chapters and verses, and they cut them off and they began them where they wanted them to, where they thought it was good. But actually, the beginning of Isaiah 53 really begins in Isaiah 52 and 13. And it says, behold, my servant shall deal, we've already proven that Israel is the servant that shall deal prudently. He shall be exalted and extolled and very high. Now, this is the thing that's amazing, because right now, Israel, hey, they were nothing. They were down and out, right? They were in exile. They weren't a people. They weren't even a nation. Okay, they were literally falling apart. But he says, you know what? Here's a message you need to receive. My people are going to be exalted and very high. And so he talks about him. He says, look, this is what happened to us. People are astonished at us. We were so messed up until we didn't look like the other nations. We didn't even look like another man as far as a man looks, because remember, all of Israel is styled as a man, as the servant of the Most High. He says, man, we were so messed up. We were toe up from the floor up. There was nothing that we had. We were just messed up. But he says, guess what? The Most High is going to come, and he's going to deliver us. He's going to set us on high. And then it begins with what we call Isaiah 53 and 1 that says, who has believed our report? What report? There is no report that someone's going to die and rise again on the third day for your sins. There is no report like that. But there is a report that says that the Most High is going to raise up Israel, right? And going to establish us and to bring us, make us to be number one, okay? And make us to be a nation, make us to be a people. So then it talks about Israel and Israel coming up. And by the way, all of this is past tense in Isaiah 53. It is past tense, okay? So he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised. And by the way, in the Hebrew, you're able to see this correctly. To read it correctly, it would say, he was wounded because or by our transgressions. The lamed for this is not even on to this word. It's not even connected. The prefix lamed is not even on the Hebrew word for transgressions. So it doesn't say that he was wounded for. It literally says in the Hebrew that he, the servant, was wounded because of transgressions, and he was bruised because of iniquities. In other words, someone committed an iniquity and it caused him to be bruised, right? Because they were fighting him, beating him up, trying to kill him, and so forth and so on. And so they thought that they were, you know how someone says, I'm going to lose my temper and find it on your behind? That's kind of like what this latter part of verse 5 is saying. It says that the chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we were healed. We took that in the church as to mean, that by his stripes, we have healing coming. We don't need to go to the doctor. Well, that's not what that is saying. In the Hebrew, it says, we were angry, we were upset, we lost our mind, and we find it on his behind because we was wearing him out. So in other words, we were beating him, right? And we beat him until we felt better. And by his stripes, we felt like it did us good. Okay? And then it talks about how, they all messed up, so forth and so on. So Israel is the suffering servant. And also, as a note, we could also say that this also fits for the prophets that are also the suffering servants. I could get into that. I've got a couple of lessons on Isaiah, the 53rd chapter. I've got a couple of lessons on that. And so I'm going to go ahead and leave that right there. I don't want to, I don't want to take up a lot of time with something that I've already covered. You can just look at those. So, yeah, I agree. Kanaya Israel says, Yah is always addressing it to Israel, so we know it has to be them. Exactly. Now let me mention this because my sister mentioned this. Jacqueline E. Bugs mentioned, she says, it is Jacob as well. He suffered while serving Laban. Dude was nearly contemptible to the core. Now, there's definitely truth in that, but the bigger truth is if you notice, even in the beginning of Isaiah, the 43rd chapter, notice the Most High addresses Jacob and Israel. Okay? please understand that he addresses Jacob and Israel. Jacob means supplanter. Jacob is the part of Israel that still needs to do the work. They haven't made it yet. They need to, walk closer to the Most High. They need to repent. That's Jacob, always tricking people, always doing what's wrong, not doing what's right, stiff-necked, hard-headed. That's Jacob, okay? But Israel is the promise. So in other words, out of this great group of people, you've got some that are obeying the Most High, and you got others that are walking contrary to the Most High. Those who walk contrary to the Most High, they end up suffering. We do have an example of that in the book of Joshua, the 5th chapter. It tells us that if you notice, because of what's read in Deuteronomy and Exodus, and even Numbers, you'll find out that the Most High said, you know what, those of you that are complaining and you're afraid to follow me because you're concerned about your little ones, I'm about to show you what I'm getting ready to do, okay? Those of you that disobey me, you're not going into the promised land, but guess what? Your children, the very ones, I'm going to show you've been doubting me and you've been getting on my nerves all this time, and I've shown you. I've opened up the sea for you. I brought water out of a rock. I rained down meat for you from the heavens. I did everything for you that you asked, and you're still going to look at me cross-eyed? Most I said, look, I'm fed up with you. I'm done. I ain't got time. And so when you read Joshua, the 5th chapter, you find out that Joshua circumcised the children because the parents that were circumcised were the ones that end up dying in the wilderness. So again, you've got Jacob that suffers, and then you've got blessed Israel that receives the blessings and that gets to go into the promised land. And it's been that way, and it's going to be that way continually, where you will always have some of Israel that's going left, and there's some of Israel that's walking in the ways and statutes of the Most High. May we be found in those that are walking with the Most High. All right, give it just a few more minutes. I'm getting ready to shut her down. And I think that we have addressed all of the questions. The question is, where is that lesson? It is actually under my live videos. Okay, it's under my live videos. And it's not too difficult to be found. I know that my brother Bergen Paris has actually put the link up there, a couple of links up there before when we were talking about it. Okay. So long story short, yeah, they are there. I'm sorry, I don't have them handy, but you'll just have to look for them. They are in my live videos, okay, on the channel. Please feel free to go through there and look. And yes, you are able to watch them. There's more than one on Isaiah 53. My sister Jacqueline Bug says, yes, Jacqueline means supplanter as well. I have always wanted another. She said, I've always wanted another name. Okay. No, it's called, it's not called Suffering Servant. It's Isaiah 53. That's what it's about. Isaiah 53. Thank you, my brother. He got a link for you. Okay. Repentant and saved. So, hey, listen, I've actually been on a little bit longer than what I wanted. Just before I leave, okay, I want to say that we do have some exciting things coming up for you. There's something that we're going to be presenting to you very soon. I said within the next couple of weeks, we're going to be presenting something to you very, very soon. And I want to say that, long story short, we are taking everything to the next level. I'm talking about the university. The website is being revamped, as well as the app itself is being revamped. And it's just going to be next level all the way around. And we're giving you an opportunity to help, giving you an opportunity to assist. Again, we're going to be mentioning that in just a little while. Also, we've got some other things coming in the future, but I simply want to say I can't tell you all about it right now. Let's just suffice and let's let this first thing come to pass, and then we'll talk to you about the others. So I'm so excited. There's a lot going on, and I want to say that without any further ado, I'm getting ready, and thank you very much, Penny. Love you too, Penny, you and Josh. And Penny asked, how am I feeling? I'm feeling good. I mean, I really am. I'm just a little tired, because I woke up at like 4 something this morning, but I'm good. Really, I'm good. But hey, no, I'm good. My leg is healing. I will be back to normal in no time. So I'm looking forward to that. Well, bless each and every one of you. May the Most High bless you. May He keep you, Thank you for giving me your time and your attention. Really, really, really. I wanted to admonish you and just speak to your hearts and ask you the question whether or not you are ready to stand in integrity for the kingdom of the Most High and to stand with the Most High. I wanted to talk more about nation building, but we will do that at a later date. It really became an admonition for us to really check ourselves and see where we are and whether or not we are in a good place, in a solid place. Please resist all temptations to drop it low for JC, as well as, I'm not even going to mention that other rap. But hey, peace and blessings to you. I love you all. And guess what? I appreciate your time once again. All of you, I appreciate you, love you. I'm out. May the Most High smile upon you, bless you, and keep you. Remember, we as Israel, we are not cursed any longer. Shalom, my brothers and sisters.